Hello and welcome to this new TouchDesigner tutorial. In this tutorial I will show you how I created a Kinect Render Pick, so a system which enables me to use my hand to move a 3D object with my hand, basically, just by um, closing and opening my hand. And this is made using Kinect. Yeah, I found out this because recently I'm working on my Patreon channel. So, and yeah, I wanted to research this topic. I was like researching it like already this summer, but I didn't find any information about it. And then, yeah, thanks to this motivation that I had for my Patreon channel, then I went a little bit deeper and I found this solution. Might be not the best one or like the cleanest one, but it works. That works, and maybe yeah, if you're gonna use it, you can give me feedbacks, or like if you're gonna use it for sure, please share your work with me. I'm really curious how this can go far because I think it's a pretty cool and interesting tool. But let's go a little bit into the deeper into the pipeline. I will create it with you. So let's create a base component. I actually need my Kinect out over here, so I can put an in here. I can delete this. We don't need it. I showed it already. And opla. And I will cut it out and bring it out. I will connect it, but I actually don't need it here. I need it here actually. So let's go. Let's call it like, yeah, whatever. Kinect Render Pick, just written differently. We can place an in for our Kinect. Okay, and let's put like a lag. It's useful to get smoother data out of the Kinect. What else? So in this moment I want to create the little circle that you saw before. Yeah, this is helpful to know the position of my hand when I want to pick the object, so I can be precise, precisely there where my object is. One thing that I need to show you actually is like how is set up here the Kinect. So I switched on the interactions because I need the open and closed hand, and then workspace position. So nothing really special. So let's create the circle and how we control it. So we basically need the right hand. Where is the hand? Here. Right hand, X and Y coordinates, and then we need right hand, open, closed, closed. Yes. And we can call it like X, Y, and select. Like like a mouse basically, no? And here we need a circle which we will control with our hands. Circle. One thing which is important are like it's the resolution. Let's set it up as 1280 by 720, and also the circle size should be like, let's make it small. Transform. We go. What else we need? I think we just need like no. Then and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Here we go. This is our circle. So now we get these coordinates. We have to modify them. So we modify them and modify their range. So basically they go from 0 to 1 and from minus zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.5. And this basically gives us the coordinates in which are useful to have the circle always in our screen, inside our screen. The only thing is the select, but we don't need the select for the circle, so we can go farther with this. We can also put a limit and clamp from minus 0 0.5 to 0 0.5. We can use then a null. We can call here circle, so we know that these values are related to our circle. And then, yep, we can place our references. And now, let's see. I move my hand. Perfect. Is inside my screen. Very good. Okay, maybe I can put even like a filter here, so the movement is a little bit smoother. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So, and that's it for the circle. Pretty easy. So now let's create our geometry. So we need a camera, light, the geometry, and the render. That's easy. Instead of the torus, let's put a sphere. But you can put whatever you want. It's just like me choosing this. Right, let's make it smaller. Let's say like, let's see. Yeah, I like this size. And let's keep the null at the end of the pipeline, but let's place a composite top, of course. And let's connect everything to the null so we can see what's happening. There's nothing. Why? Because they multiply. But we want the over, so we want that the circle is over our sphere. Let's see. All right, and that's what I mean. No, like I want that the my circle. I know when my hand is on the circle so that I can select my geometry. All right, let's go further now. So let's go actually for the thing, for the multi-touch, which is in that. No, now the multi-touch in wants informations from a panel because they need they need information for the mouse. So let's include the mouse also, and let's then send the informations of our render to a container. Let's put first a null top. Let's make it clean, and let's send these informations to a container. Why a container? Because the container is a panel basically, so it can actually read the informations of our mouse. So let's send the informations of this container to the panel. But of course, this container must be 1280 720 as resolution, in this case width and height, of course, and it has to look to something, to this null. Alright, in this case, now we see our sphere. If let's bring now the touch so we can also see the values. Here, what happens? Here, if I make my container active, let's see what is inside this multi-touch. No, we have like informations related to the mouse, especially select the UV and the down U and the down V. So what does it mean? So now I'm moving my mouse inside the container, which is active, of course. So when I click, and now I'm clicking, the select here turns 1. Okay. So when I'm moving here, the UV coordinates are changing, and when I click, also the down U and the down V change. So this means that the object here is selected, for example, and then I have the UV coordinates moving. So this is fundamental for our Kinect Render Pick, this stage. So also we need a render pick. Where is the render pick? Here. The render pick. The render pick gets all the informations from the render, which is this one, where so the render pick can see basically the sphere in this case, or all the geos that are in the scene that are rendered. Okay. Also, one thing we have to choose is the strategy, and the strategy must be hold first picked. So when we pick the object, basically we will get all the informations about this object which is picked first. So let's send all the informations of the mouse to the render pick. Let's see what happens here. Let's see, we have space or not. So let's see what happens. Container is active. I click here, no informations. I click here, poof. I click on the sphere, and it gives me back that here in path I have the sphere 1 selected. Okay, and also we also have informations about the coordinates of this object in the space. Very, very good. Okay, let's do something else. Let's go inside the callback of our render pick. This is also a very important phase. So in the callbacks, we have all the informations about the events happening in the render pick, and so in the render scene. And as we saw, now we have like informations about UV. So when an event happens in the render pick, we can get all these informations related to an event. What we need for this tutorial are the informations of the UV, so basically the coordinate of our input, in this case the mouse, but it will be the Kinect, and then we also need select as information, so it will give us back like a boolean state, so 0 1 when the selection is ongoing, so when there is a selection. And finally we need also the pick operator event, so basically it tells us which is the current picked operator. In this case we have just the sphere, so if we pick the sphere, the pick operator will give us back like an event. Okay, but how do we do to get the event actually read from our render pick? So basically we need to say if event dot select, so if the selection is ongoing and event pick op is also ongoing. So if these two operations, the selection and the picking of that specific geo is ongoing, then we need, I want, actually now we have an error, but I want to transmit the informations of the mouse, the UV informations of the mouse, to a constant, which I will call coordinates. And it will contain a channel X and a channel Y. Now let's pay a little of attention on this. So the X has two parameters. This channel has two parameters connected. The one is the name 0, that is like the name I'm giving to the channel, and the value 0, which is like the value of the channel. Okay, so value 0 will be our precious information, and also here we have value 1. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. We have the value 1, which are all the values related to Y, which is the second channel. So the second channel is read as the number 1, and the first channel is actually read as number 0. So, but let's go farther here and let's write. So if there are these two events happening, I want that the operator chord channel 0, which is our X, and especially the parameter value 0, so the values related to the X equals the event U. So in this case, I'm telling to the render pick to send the values, the U values of my mouse to X in the coordinate in the chord constant chop. Right. Now I can just copy this line here, paste it, and of course this time I want to send these informations to the second channel, so the Y, to the parameter value 1, and I want to send informations related to the V channel of my mouse. So that's good. Let's see what happens now if I go on my container, I click here, no informations. There is something wrong. Okay. So the information wrong is like I don't need actually the to specify the channel here because I'm already specifying the value 0 and the value 1. So here we go. And now, as you can see, when I go on my container and I'm pressing the mouse, so when I select and pick the operator, then I have the XY values moving in my constant. So I'm getting the informations now from the render pick. This is fundamental. Now, let's select both channels. So one is X, the other one is Y. What I want to do is adding a math chop for both. And I want to see first which are the limits where I can move my geometry. So let's see what happens here. So let's see the on the X where which are the limits. So let's keep 2. 2 can be 2, 2.1, 2.1. Let's say 2.1. And let's see on the top here. So 1.1 or 1.2, 1.2 and 2.1. These are the limits where my sphere can move in the screen. So this is what I want to give as values of my u and v. So I want that when the u is 0 for the x coordinates, I want that the sphere can go maximum at minus 2.1, and when it's 1 as u value, so the maximum value that I can have on the x coordinates, I want that the sphere will be placed at 2.1. Similarly, for the v coordinates, when the v is 0, so it's basically here, yeah, where my hand is, where the circle is. So I want to have a minimum value of minus 1.1, and when it's on the top here, I want that this value is 1.1. That's it, basically. I can also add a limit chop in order to not get the sphere out of the screen eventually. So I need two of them. One, two. And the limits are again a clamp here, minus 2.1 and 2.1, that's maximum, while here is gonna be minus zero point 0.1 and 1.1. Of course, these are values that you have to see all the time, arrange all the time according to your the size also of the object, or like to the object itself, or like also the movements you want to do, or you want to make to do to the object. But anyway, so let's merge all these new values all together, and let's create a null which will name object chord, let's say so. Okay, now finally we have the um, values of our mouse taken from the render pick and the container and transmitted to some channels. They are remapped, and now we can finally give these channels remapped to our geo. Okay, now let's see what happens here. So I go with my arrow here. I pick my object, so I press here, nothing happens because I'm not picking up the object. But when I take the object and I move it, so I can actually move the object. I will get the filter out of here. I don't want it. Let's see if it's more precise. Yeah. Okay. I like it. Maybe we will put it later. So, but okay, now we have our mouse and it can pick the object, it can move it around. Nice, cool. But we want the Kinect, right? So, if we want the Kinect, we have to work on this part of the project. So basically, all we have to do is like instead of giving the mouse information to our container and to our render pick, we have to give the informations of the Kinect. I got stuck so much to this point till this summer that I didn't know how to do that. But actually the solution was kind of easy. I mean, like now that I think of it, it's like, oh, that's easy, but in the moment, oh, that was not easy. So let's get the mouse out. Let's clear the output. So we have a clear output here. So we don't have any values inside. Okay, cool. Now let's create a table. Table that. Boom. Table that with the exact dimensions we want. Actually, we want how many columns? We want 11 columns, and we want just one row. Okay. We have to basically fake our multi-touching values in this table. Which values we need? Okay, we need the select, which simulate the click of the mouse, and we will fake it with our hand closed. And then we need like UV, down U, down V informations. All the rest we don't need it. Like all the rest we can just put like fake values. Okay, so where do we get this information? So we get these informations from our mouse. So we need then the information from here, from the select. So I will just add a null here from the informations that I got. The informations are, these are the informations, the values from the Kinect and the select. That's it. And I can call it like Kinect values, right? And well, so let's fill this table. So the first two values, they have to be inside this like they have to be written like this. The two is like the select. So our select is in the operator Kinect values, and it's like the third channel. So it's actually the second one for TouchDesigner. So here we can then skip for the moment. We just need like the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th channels. So the 7th is related to the U coordinates. So operator Kinect values channel 0. I already see here a mistake. We need this written like this. Okay, cool. Okay, I can now copy this and use it for the down U here. Great. And now for the 8th and the 10th channel, I will just copy this, and instead of the channel 0, I need the channel 1, which refers actually to the Y coordinates, and so to the V coordinates. And same for the 10th. I just copy and paste. For all the rest, I just need like random values. I will put like 100, 1, 111, 111. All right. What I need then is to add an evaluate shop, evaluate that, sorry. What does it do to evaluate? So basically, if I just use these values here, like written in the table, they won't work because this reference doesn't give me back the numbers. To get the numbers from the Kinect, I need the evaluate. Let's see what happens here. So, okay, now I'm moving my hand, you can see the circle, and then I get like in the last columns, I get all the values from the Kinect, and also like now I close my hand. Let's see the second column. Okay, the second column changes values as well. Cool. Okay, now that we have our values evaluated, basically what I want to do is like merging these two tables. The one coming from um, the multi-touch and the one coming from the evaluate. By merging and connecting these to the render pick, I might be able now to grab my object. Let's see. So the hand is on the sphere. I close my hand, and yeah, I grab the object. Yeah, that's it. And then I open my hand, and my object is there on the screen. So that's the Kinect Render Pick. I hope this tutorial is gonna be useful. This tool is gonna be useful for you. Please share everything you can create with this. I'm pretty curious what you can do. I will share this on my Patreon channel so you can download the patch so you don't have to actually recreate the tutorial. But yeah, of course, maybe it's useful to understand how all this was created. Also, yeah, if you add some improvements or like if you make it like if you optimize the system, please let me know because I am aware that it's not super clean. Maybe there could be like some improvements. I already think that all this table, the fake table, can be actually substituted directly here in the callbacks of the multi-touch and giving already all the values inside here. I think this can be easily done. I personally found this method easier and faster. But yeah, and yeah, if you like this tutorial, you find it useful, feel free to support me. I am on the Patreon channel, so you can support me there, or like you can send me a donation on my PayPal account. With that said, I think it's everything. Yes, I think so. Yeah, well, other space, other room for improvements is like to end the second end. I did it already, of course, but this is shared already in my Patreon channel in the other patches. So you can add the second hand, and you can actually add a lip motion. You could add a lip motion with the same system, I believe. I don't have a lip motion, but I believe this can be done similarly. And also, I think data from OSC, so from the smartphones, for example. If you have any questions or the system doesn't work, you have some problems or anything with this, contact me and yeah, we'll see if I can fix it. That's everything. So thank you for watching. See you to the next tutorial.